You might wonder why we are dressed like this.
Yeah, we don't normally dress like this.
Yeah.
It's just like,
We are at work!
yeah, so take a good look of what's behind us.
2 weeks in... Nej, 2 weekends ago, we went to 2 different adventures.
Yeah, and now we're gonna talk about it.
First, I'm gonna tell my weekend. 2 weekends ago, I went to Närcon, and it started already on Thursday. But people could come on Wednesday and get their tickets. Well, they get their bands. But since I was working, I had to go after work, so I couldn't get there in time to get the band on Wednesday. So I knew that I had to get them on Thursday instead. But since all my friends was there already, I decided to go on Wednesday evening instead, so we could have fun in the hotel. I was both so excited and so nervous to get there, since, well, I was excited obviously because, well, it's a convention. Everybody loves conventions. But at the same time I was so nervous because on Friday we will have the Homestuck panel, and, well, it will be both fun and scary because I'd never done anything like that before, and people could ask me anything, and I was scared what they was going to ask me. For those who don't know, the Homestuck panel is when one character from each in Homestuck, the webcomic Homestuck, is there in one panel, and you get to ask them questions and they get to answer in character. Yeah, so after work I went on the train, and now comes the dark part. Before the good, but now it's dark. I went on the train and it was like a lot of people there. I had a seat, but someone was sitting in my seat. So when I went there to be like, you know, kind of like, excuse me, you got my seat. He was like talking like this with his friend all the time, so I couldn't talk to him in any way, anyhow. So I was like, and sat on the seat behind him instead. And I sat there, and he had his window open, and it was like 4 windows open in that train. And have you ever went on the train and gone from one carriage to another and heard the whoo sound? Ever? Anyone? Anyway, that carriage sounded like that all the time, since 4 windows was open, and I couldn't hear anything. And the man in front of me who had got my seat had the window open, and it was blowing in my face. And I was sitting there watching all the kids screaming forward and forward, and I knew that any moment the speakers would tell what city will come next, and I had to listen because I had to go off at Katrineholm, and I couldn't hear a thing, and I was so stressful, and the train was also late, so I knew that I couldn't go blindly on the time either. So I was like, oh my god, what should I do? I decided anyway to, when the time started to become right, like 5 minutes after the correct time, I went to the door instead anyway and was just standing there waiting for the train to stop because I couldn't hear a thing. Happily, some other people in that train was going to go up at Katrineholm too, and they were also like a little bit frustrated about the sound and everything. So I kind of got a friend there. We talked and everything, and when we got off at Katrineholm, she was going to Linköping too, so we went together to that train and talked and everything. And she was so nice. She sewed a lot, so she was going to Linköping to be with her friends and just sew a whole weekend. And so we had a lot in common since I sew too. So we talked and we had a lot of fun, and I talked about cosplay with her, and she was like, oh my god, that's so interesting, and everything like that. Finally, I was in Linköping, and my friends met me at the train station, and we went to the hotel and just had fun, packing up, you know, everything like that. And then we slept, and then it was Thursday. On Thursday, me and Firebirdie was cosplaying Gilbert and Serge from Casa Tequila, and we went there pretty early, so I could get my band pretty early. And when we went there, it was like no people there. And every time I got to Natacon, it has always been like 2 hours of line to stand in. And I was like, oh my god, can I really get my band now? It can't be that table because no one is standing there. It's like, yeah, you go and get your band there. And I was like standing there, we're like, band? And I got my band, and soon after that, then it came a 2 hours line. And it was like, haha, oh my god, I already got my band! And the funny thing is that the band is inspired by Homestuck. You see there? You see the horns? We think it's Friska. So we were there pretty early, and we already got to our bands, and we just had to enter. It was so many good cosplayers at the convention. Oh my god, like one of the most amazing Dalek I have ever seen. When she talked through that Dalek voice, the light was blinking, and she even could, she could move her, and everything worked. She was a Dalek. It was so awesome. You know, Dalek from Doctor Who. So yeah, really big credit to all the cosplayers there. We saw you probably, and we loved you. Nobody pretty much knew what manga me and Firebird was cosplaying from, but it didn't matter. We were happy. We knew what we were cosplaying, so we were happy. And we had a really fun time. And then it became Friday. The day we had been so excited about and also so nervous about, because this day we will be at the Homestuck panel. Da, da, da. The Homestuck panel had been moved forward in time. The setup time was 6 p.m. and now it had been moved forward to 8 p.m. So it was a change there at first. Then when 8 p.m. came and we went to the stage was occupied. So we was like, oh my god, where are we going to go now? And we got a new stage. And we were like calling out to all the people who was Homestuck people who was standing there in the crowd, and it was like, all of you who wants to see the Homestuck panel, just follow us. And then we went to the new stage. So then we were at our new stage, and we was setting our place, and it was like all very nervous, and people just stormed in. There was so many people, and then we started, and it was so much fun. We had been a little bit scared about that no one will ask us questions at all, but it was so many questions, and not only that, we had to go over time because it was so many questions, and at one point we had to say like, stop, all of you who has their hand raised, you can get your questions answered, but no more hands rising please, because we have to stop now soon. So yeah, and all the questions was really fun questions, and we had a really good time. And afterwards people came to us and wanted to take pictures, talked, and it was so much fun. I shared my Fago with all my Gemsi bros. And then it was Saturday. The day before, when I was Gemsi, I had to speak in a certain voice, like Gemsi does, like, hello motherfuckers. And since that takes a little bit on the voice, my voice was pretty tired. So today, when I was cosplaying Kurlos, I had to sew my mouth shut. Not for real, of course. I didn't take a needle like but I took...
Yeah, she does everything.
Yeah.
Everything for the cosplay art.
Yeah, I sew my mouth shut. No, I took like you know when you have loose noses and everything, and you sew it and you glue it to your face with a certain glue. I had that glue because we had elf ears when we were Gamsey, and now when we were Kurlos too. So we had that glue, and we glued elastic bands over my mouth. So I couldn't really speak that day. And it was great for me because my voice was very tired. And it was very interesting to talk with your hands. Firebirdie was cosplaying Marlene, who's also deaf, so she doesn't speak either. The story is that Marlene and Kulos was lovers. And one night, when they are sleeping in the same bed, Kulos wakes up from a nightmare and screams so loud that Marlene gets deaf. And Kulos feels so guilty because of this, so he sews his mouth shut so he can never scream again. And so none of them talks. So they talk with their hands with each other. So yeah, it was very interesting to speak with your hands. And a lot of people came to us and asked like, isn't it hard to not speak a whole day? And it was like, nah. Well, we didn't say nah, but we were like, nah, it's fine. We love this. It's really, it's funny. It's very interesting. You get a new perspective on life. On this day, Gary Russell, who is one of the makers of Doctor Who and Torchwood and a lot of other things, was there to talk about, mostly about Doctor Who, but also about Torchwood. It was very fun to listen to. It was very interesting. Firebirdie, who is a real big fan of Doctor Who, had a real fun time there, I can tell. And then it was Sunday. And yeah, we had to go home, say goodbye to all friends. Yeah, and then it was like, bye convention, I'm going to miss you and all you beautiful people.
Yeah. Okay, my adventure. So me and some friends, we decided that we were going to go to Gränna because they're like famous for candy sticks and it's so awesome. I've only been there once before that adventure. And it was when I was a kid and I had a memory like me playing mini golf. And yeah, I'll tell you the story some other time. Anyways, we went by car there, and as soon as I went in the car, they asked me like, so how do you sleep? And I was like, not that great, like 6 hours maybe. And 4 before that, like the day before, not. I haven't slept like 4 hours, so I woke up and then 6 hours. Okay, anyhow, and they're like, oh, okay, but you're almost in the 5-hour club then. Because they've only slept like 5 hours that night, except for my friend Anne. She's like, I'm not in the 5-hour club. And that's it, and we went driving. When we were driving, there was like some really dumb drivers. They were like, they let through some cars, but when we tried to go through them, they just like stepped on the gas and like, yeah. We were like, why?
Oh, because we are girls.
Yeah, just it was like really manly men there drinking the beer and stuff like that.
Just let the guys go forward.
Yeah, and we were like, come on dude, why? And it's just like, it is a danger in the traffic to do so, so don't do it. Okay? Plus it pisses the drivers off that tries to get past them. Anyhow, we met them when we were trying to get coffee coolers at 7-Eleven, and we were like, then we went driving, and we all had like watched the weather, how to see what kind of weather it would be, and everyone had their different
foreseeing of the weather.
Yeah. And when we got closer, it was between me and Hannah, another friend of mine, and it was like really dark. We knew it was gonna rain, and we were like, no. And the streets were so tight, and it was really packed with cars. I mean, everywhere. And it was so hot, we thought it was gonna thunder, because they were still cloudy and stuff like that. And we got there, we decided to get something to eat, and then it started to rain. And we're like, no. But then it got sunny. So every one of us was wrong about the weather. So no one won. No one. And well, it was like arriving in the 50s. It was so amazing. And if it weren't for all the people wearing like clothes we wear today, I would have thought, not really, but it was like going into the 50s. And like the shops were like inspired by the 50s too, and like the clothes they wore, it was so amazing. I mean, yeah, and I got to taste like freshly baked polka gris, and it was so amazing. Yeah, so good, so good. And when we went looking at the shops, we saw this troll, this amazing troll, and we went back and forth kinda. So every time I saw that troll, I thought of troll. Every time it was like, please get this song out of my head. And then I decided to send a picture to Emma
with a message.
Yeah, so I thought that Emma might have that stuck in her head, because that's kind of my deal, get people having songs stuck in their head.
She's so mean! Every time, she's just randomly like such a humming on the song, so everybody should get the song in their heads too.
Yeah. And something that is so funny, kinda, is that if you like translate polka gris into English, it would be polka pig.
Polka pig, you want a polka pig?
I want a polka pig. This is polka pigs.
Polka pig!
Polka pigs. And then we went to the Tourist Information Center, and because we wanted to know really what was going on there at the time. And I saw this polar bear hanging up in the ceiling, and it said "Buy me" on the sign. Who would want that? Seriously! Oh my gosh! It was so awful. It was not real, but it was like, why would you want that? Seriously. Anyhow, we went to an island close to Gränna called Visingsö, and we went on a horse and carriage, and it's called Remmalag. Kind of like a horse and carriage, except the carriage is special. And we got to see these amazing old churches, and this amazing, I mean, the view of Visingsö is so amazing. I mean, I've never ever seen anything like that in my life, and it was so calm. I mean, I love that island a lot. And then we went back home because we were tired, and we pretty much thought that the day was awesome. So we went back. We stopped at a place called Stava, which means spelling in English, and we took some pictures of the view, and it was cool. And then we went back home, and yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, now I think we should get a real good cup of tea.
Yeah,
and
candy.
eat some candy canes. Oh, yum 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 yum.